Alright, doing some drafting for Zendikar Rising, and yeah, we got another full art land, sweet. So, this will be my first time drafting this set, so we'll see how it goes. I have some knowledge of the format. I did a pre-release event, and I have looked at some of the cards, but I will be kind of learning as I go here, so it'll be kind of a blind draft, halfway a blind draft. Okay, well, here's one of the mythic lands, so the effect is actually not that strong for the blue one. It's 7 mana, draw cards equal to the cards in your hand, but the upside is it can be an untapped land, so it's just got like no cost. It can be your land drop, or it can be a card draw effect. I think I'll probably take it just to, I don't know how. I think this would be really good in constructed. I don't actually know how well this will do in limited, because 7 mana is a lot. You don't really have like wraths and stuff where this will really shine in constructed as a control deck, where you have wraths and ways to keep yourself alive to get to that 7 mana. But yeah, I don't know how good it'll be, but we'll test it out here for sure. The other card I probably would take next would be Royal Eruption, just a really good removal spell. I think Skyclip Plunder is also pretty good, so we'll see if we get that back around. I don't imagine so, but if we do get it back, then we'll be in a pretty good shape for some kind of control deck. You know, that's a 5 mana draw 3 essentially, with some upside, and you typically want one of those in a kind of control deck. So looks like we got some other blue uncommons, which is pretty nice. So here's another flip land. This one, instead of being a spell, is actually just a creature. A 5 mana 4/3 that can gain flying, which is pretty good. I mean, when it's attached to a land. Thwart the Grave is a pretty strong reanimation spell. Let's see, what does this actually do? Low Mage's Domination. Costs 3 less to cast if the target's creature with control has 8 or more cards in the graveyard. Gain control of target creature with converted mana cost X. Yeah, we're going to be taking that. So, yes, I mean, this is a little bit expensive for a steal effect, but steal effects in limited are just so good. They're so backbreaking. And this makes me really want to try to get into a control deck. Both of these are really good in the late game, Seagate Restoration and Low Mage's Domination. So we want to be taking cards from here on out that keep us alive, basically. Roost of Drakes would be interesting. So this is a card I lost to horribly in my pre-release, which is a 1 mana enchantment that whenever you kick a spell, you get to make a 2/2 blue Drake, and then you can kick it to also make a 2/2 blue Drake when you're casting it. So we could go into like sort of a kicker control deck. That might be interesting. Our other options, Veteran Adventurer. This is a party fixer. It can be any member of a party, and it costs 1 less for each member you have in your party. I mean, I think blue does have some good party support, so we could potentially be in a party deck. Cunning Gyre Mage I think is pretty bad. Field Research is okay, but again, you don't want too many card draw effects in your control deck, and we already have a pretty good one that has the upside of also being a land, so I don't know if you gotta actually have stuff that impacts the board. The other option would be like Vanquish the Weak. I guess let's take the build around with Roost of Drakes. This could be interesting, a kind of a kicker control deck. I'd like to try this out and see how it does. So Into the Royal is a very good kicker card, and also pretty good in control, because 2 mana, bounce target non-land permanent to its owner's hand, and then if you kick it, you get to draw a card. So 4 mana, you get to bounce something and also draw a card. Pretty good. Merfolk Windrobber, so 1/1 flyer. When it deals damage, they mill. When you sacrifice it, draw a card. Activate this ability only if your opponent. Okay, so just a kind of a rogue enabler. And I mean, this card does care about cards in our opponent's graveyard, so potentially we would want to pick up some of these mills. But a 1 mana 1/1 is pretty low impact, even if this one does sort of facilitate some of our other stuff. I think we want to take all the kicker cards we can here, especially good ones like Into the Royal. So here we have Tazim's Royal Mage, 2 mana 2/1, and when it enters the battlefield, it was kicked. Return target instant or sorcery from your graveyard to your hand. Okay, actually seems pretty good. A 2 mana 2/1, or yeah, 2 mana 2/1 can hold down the ground, so we don't just die to some dorks. And then in the late game, for 6 mana, we can actually like get back or Into the Royal, kick it again, make another Drake. A Living Tempest, 5 mana, 3/3 flash flyers, definitely great too. I think this is a little bit better because we've got some good late game stuff. We really just want to survive. That's actually, this is a pretty good rogue. I wonder if maybe a rogue deck would be kind of cool with what we have here, but I think we're gonna keep picking the kicker cards if we can. and stick in blue. Try to cut blue as hard as we can here, so we get some good blue stuff in pack 3. Anti-Cognition, so 2 mana counter target creature or planeswalker spell unless opponent pays 2. Opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard, instead counter that spell, then scry 2. 2 mana, so this is an Essence Scatter that you need to kind of do some work to turn on. I don't know how good that is. Essence Scatter is definitely runnable and limited, but I don't know about kind of crappy Essence Scatter. We could just take the Mesa Lynx, it's probably fine. It's probably a good defensive creature, because as long as it's not our turn, yeah, we'll take that. We'll take the Mesa Lynx, see if it's just a decent enough defensive creature. It's a 2/3 on our turn, so it can hold down the ground. So this is a 1 mana 1/1 flash. When it enters the battlefield, if one target creature gets -2. -0, again, not super impactful. I don't think we want that. Validate Recovery is kind of a pretty good effect. We could also take the Prowling Felidar, which is just a decently strong card. Kind of grows out of control. Well, Nahiri's Binding, I guess. If we're going to take... Yeah, that's actually... Man, that was a pretty late Nahiri's Binding, actually, so white seems pretty open. This is just a 3 mana removal, essentially. I guess we take the Deliberate, which is just a preordained for 2 mana, which... But at instant speed, that's kind of fine. I don't know how good Farsight Adept is. I'm gonna take it, I guess. We'll test out Farsight Adept. It's group draw, which is I don't know how good that is, but all right. So we kind of got a goodish blue-white deck going here. And Field Research, yeah, yeah. We don't want the pump spell. Field Research is a card draw spell for a control strategy and another kicker spell. I guess we take. I guess we'll take this just in case we end up in blue and green. That's a decent enough card. And a control shell. Sure. Probably won't be running that. We probably won't be having too many creatures. And Anti-Cognition. I still don't think we can play that. Oh my goodness. Drawn at the Last Blood Chief. Very powerful card. So we would need to shift into blue-black, I think. And so we'd be missing mainly this Nahiri's Binding would be the big thing we miss out on. Is Drana better than that? I think the answer is yes. Big time. So we're probably going to take the Drana here. Thwart the Grave would be a nice thing to wheel back around as well. Our other option would be something like Bubble Snare, which would be actually really good in our deck. But yeah, I think we take the Drana. Yep, I'm going to take the Drana and see if we can go into blue-black. I don't know how much kicker support black has, so we'll see how well this works out. But this card is just so rawly powerful. I feel like we need to take it. Here we got 2 good red uncommons, so when it enters the battlefield, deals X damage to target creature player or X number of creatures in your party. So pretty good. It's going to at least ping something for 1 and can potentially ping something for 4. I don't think we want another Field Research. Glacial Grasp, its controller mills 2 cards, it doesn't untap. That actually doesn't seem too bad. I guess we take the Glacial Grasp. Our other choice would be like Trana's Silencer, which is pretty bad. 6 mana, 3/2 that gives something -X/-X. We're equal to our party members. Yeah, I think we're pretty solidly... We want to be in blue-black here, so we're not going to take stuff off color unless it's just overwhelmingly good. That's a pretty good card there. But Falconeer is actually really good. 5 mana 4/4 flyer. That's all I need to say. That's just a good effect right there. 5 mana 4/4 flyer is a great finisher, and any kind of control deck, really hard to trade with. And then it has some additional upside for kicker stuff where we get to scry too, but really that doesn't matter. We're missing a Bubble Snare, which would be... It's almost debatable to take the Bubble Snare instead of the Falconeer, because we do have, you know, Drana as a good finisher too, but I think we take the... Falconeer is just really good. Okay, Jwari Disruption, so this is a censor effect. Makes our opponent pay an additional mana for their spell or it gets countered. And it can also be a land, so that's pretty powerful. And our other option would be like a Vanquish. Vanquish the Weak might be better. I think we're actually going to take the Vanquish the Weak. I think actual removal seems pretty good here. Oh, okay, we actually got a blue-black uncommon, so Soaring Thought Thief, Flash Flying, 1/3. As long as the opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard, rogues you control get +1/+0, and whenever 1 or more rogues you control attack, each opponent mills 2 cards. So, again, another kind of rogue enabler. Our other option would be Skyclave Shadowcat. Sacrifice another creature, put a +1/+1 counter on Shadowcat. Whenever a creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it dies, draw a card. Pretty good, but I think that's more towards the green-black deck than the blue-black deck. And the other, well, we're going to take the Deadly Alliance, actually. This is just another good removal spell. Well, speaking of good removal spells, this is probably the best one in the set. Blood Chief's Thirst, 1 mana, destroy target creature or planeswalker with CMC 2 or less. If it was kicked, destroy any creature or planeswalker. Ridiculously good, so we'll take that. And I think we're pretty good on removal now. We want some actual ways to pressure our opponent. Well, into the Royal. I think we... Do we want a card draw here? We want just some actual creatures, I think. I guess we take Into the Royal. I don't think we want to be taking this Bat. The Bat seems pretty bad in our deck. And here we got pretty much nothing. I guess we take the Relic Golem. We do have some ways to mill our opponent, but we probably won't be playing it. If it could block without having to be turned on, it would be a lot better, but it cannot. Alright, instant or sorcery or wizard spell. And okay, this isn't the worst. I mean, we do have a lot of instants and sorceries to put counters on it, and some wizards as well. I wonder... Maybe this is good, actually. Let's try this. Because it's damage... I guess that's just another removal. So I was thinking it was damage to any target, so maybe that was a mistake to take that. Because I was thinking we could, like, ding our opponent in the face for, like, 6 at the end of the game, but it's actually just creatures. Okay, we're probably going to take the Skyclave Squid. I think it's better than the Highborn Vampire. This is another good way to stay alive. It's got a defensive body, a 3/2. It doesn't stay alive through much, but it does trade with pretty much all early threats. And that's I think this is where like Skyclave Squid is actually good in like a control deck or a flyers deck, where the non-turned on body, you know, if you don't hit the landfall, is actually good. That's where you want to be running that. I think I'm actually going to take the Relic Amulet out. I think okay. This is we could potentially pick up some rogues. We are in the right colors. I think we actually have 0 rogues right now. So right now this is just a 2-mana 2/2, but if we can pick up some more rogues and give it Death Touch, it's a lot better. Yeah, we've got 0 rogues currently. I guess we got this thing, but this thing, I don't want to be playing that. Oh wow, Both of these would be pretty good, but I think we're going to take the Soaring Thought Thief and the Hagra Constrictor, so it looks like our colors are open. Aw, Angel of Destiny. Well, that would be a cool card to take, but I don't think we take it. Wow, another Lowell Mage's Domination. Could also take the Black Bloom Rogue, which is just really good, being both a creature and a land. Lowell Mage's Domination is really good, but maybe we just take the Rogue. I think we take the Rogue. I think we need more early game, less finishers. We've already got things kind of locked up at the end game, I think. So yeah, I think we'll take the Rogue. Definitely debatable which one of those we should have taken, but Black Bloom Rogue, not only is it a pretty good creature, a 3-mana 2/3 with Menace that becomes a 5/3 with Menace eventually, it's land. It can just hit our land drops, so it helps us from flooding, so we'll put this over there. So if we can pick up a few more of those abilities, it would be pretty nice too. So how many things do we actually have with Kicker? So we have 5 things with Kicker, so this, I don't know about this Roost of Drakes. Ooh, Archon of the Emeria. Really cool card I want to play Constructed, because I love me some white weenies, but I don't think we're going to be doing that. So choose target creature. Okay, this is a pretty situational card, but again, it's attached to a land, so I think it's actually pretty good. Is there anything we want to take instead? We could just take another Rogue. Expedition Skulker gets better with multiple copies, because it turns itself on if you have 2 of them. Besides that, Living Tempest could be fine. I think we'll take the Malakir Rebirth. Again, just really good because it's attached to a land. Here we've got Lithiform Blight, not great. We've got Deliberate, we've got Living Tempest. I think we just take the Living Tempest. As another, one more finisher to help us get things across the line, I think. It doesn't have any relevant creature types, but it is just a 5-mana 3/3 flash flyer. Wow, another Roost of Drakes. Yeah, I think our other choices in this pack just aren't that great. I mean, Expedition Diviner would probably be it. We do have a number of wizards, but we'll take the Roost of Drakes. So if we can pick up a few more kicker spells, we'll be pretty happy about it. Currently, I mean, these do have kickers, so having multiple copies of Roost of Drake itself, you know, we can play the first Roost of Drakes and then play the second Roost of Drakes on turn 4, and each one will make we'll get a couple of Drakes out of the deal, and then that's already worth it. Probably gonna put Deliberate out of the deck. Cunning Gyre Mage is just really not great. I think we take the Expedition Skulker. We do have a decent amount of rogues now, right? We've got 1, 2, 3. So the more rogues we get, the better this card gets. So our other choice would be like the Geyser Mage. I just think the Geyser Mage is bad. I just don't want to be playing the Geyser Mage, I think. 3 mana 3/2 that can be a mana war if we pay 6 mana for it. It just feels bad. Even though it is a kicker spell, which we would love to have in our deck, I think it's just not a good card. Here we'll take another Royal Mage, I think, which is a good card. So yeah, this could currently be our deck, although we do, because we have 2 of these things that are technically lands, we do get to run 1 less land, I think. As Mnemonic Sky Dancer, when it enters the battlefield, so Flash Flying for 3 mana. Maybe we just take another Into the Royal. And this is our deck currently. We would just run it like this. I guess if we need another kicker, we can... If it feels like we're kicker light, we can bring in the Field Research. Oh wow, another Tazim Royal Mage. Yeah. Alright, so I'm feeling pretty good about this. Living Tempest, I don't think we want 2 of them. I think we've got enough finishers as it is. Especially with these cards that can be expensive because they have kicker. I think we're pretty good. Subtle Strike, whatever. I'll just take the... Okay, I'll take the Marauding High Priest, I guess. If we need a creature that we got one we can pull in. Negate, and... Okay, just Inordinate Rage. Alright, so we've got a pretty sweet deck. We get to take out a land here. I guess actually we got 3 cards that count as lands, so maybe we can take out a couple lands. Although the trick with these is they kind of allow you to run more lands than you typically would, so you can kind of be sure you hit your land drops. So even though I think we still only take out 1 land here, and we probably want to take out a swamp. Yeah, we'll take out a swamp, and then we got to cut one other card. Maybe these Expedition Skulkers. So we ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, no, we just don't have that many rogues. So let's take out one of these Expedition Skulkers. The other one will just most times be a 2/2. And do we want to? We could bring in like a Light Priest over the other one. So this is a 3/2 whenever you gain life. We just don't have any real ways to gain life, do we? So I could bring in a card draw spell, but how many creatures are we running? 11. I don't think we want to go down a creature for a card draw spell at this point. And Drawn to Silencer is just bad. So I think we're pretty good leaving it like this. We got some good early game stuff to keep us alive, and then these Tazim Royal Mages can get us back our removal spells, and we can, you know, kick things a bunch of times. We don't have that many spells with kicker. We have 1, 2, 5. Actually, I guess we do. 8. I forgot we had 3 of these. 8, 9, 10. So we have 10 spells with kicker, and we even have the ability, we kind of sneakily have even more than that because Tazim Royal Mage can get us back our other spells with kicker, so these Rooster Drakes actually should be pretty good. So yeah, I think this deck is actually pretty damn good. We got a kicker rogue deck that just has Drana as a massive bomb finisher, and we got some good half land, half spells. So yeah, I actually think this deck looks pretty good. So alright, on to game 1. Alright, up against Egbert, and yeah, we'll keep this. Yep, we'll keep. I don't know if we want to play Rooster Drakes on turn 1 or not. Maybe we wait until turn... We haven't got nothing else to do. I guess Into the Royal on turn 4 will be fine. I guess we try it. This is an experiment. This is my first draft of the format, so what we want to do is wait until turn 4 for this Into the Royal if we can, because it's going to be a lot better. Not only do we get to draw a card off of it, we get to make it 2/2. Alright, well, we'll leave up Into the Royal, so if we need to counter something, we can. Or if we need to bounce something, we can, but otherwise we can just wait. Play our Haggard Constrictor next turn, and then Into the Royal the turn after that. Haggard Constrictor, maybe we should actually go down this for that 3/2. We don't have any, like, +1/+1 stuff besides Haggard Constrictor. Okay, opponent's doing nothing. Alright, well, run out the 2/2. 2/2 with Menace. Yeah, maybe just the 3/2 that does nothing will be better than a 2/2 with Menace. I'm not sure. Kazandu Nectar Pot, so they're going to be gaining some life. Are they on 4 color? Maybe even 5 color? Interesting. Well, we are going to just Into the Royal them, I think, so we'll get in for 2. Pass turn. We get to Into the Royal, bounce something, draw a card, and make a 2/2, and that feels pretty unbeatable. Yeah, gain another life, sure. But we want to bounce something a little more expensive. Tajiru Paragon. Well, we're not bouncing that. Opponent gets to search for something. Let's see what they get. So they're on like 4 or 5 color party. Alright, we're gonna just kick the Nectar Pot, draw a card, make a 2/2, yada yada yada. All good stuff. Ooh, Tazim's Royal Mage. We're not quite there, but we're almost there. Attack. Okay, so we could yeah, we're just going to flash in Living Tempest this turn. And then next turn we can Tazim Royal Mage with Kicker to get back into the Royal, get another 2/2, and then into the Royal, kick it, get another 2/2. Yeah, Roost of the Drakes. Oh my god, this card's ridiculous. What? Oh, it's fixing too. Whoa, that's pretty interesting. So they can make any color of mana now. I was only thinking about this as a negative effect, but Lithiform Blight as a way to fix your own mana is kind of interesting. So they are actually 5 color too. Scorch Rider, Human Warrior. I mean, there's the battlefield if it was kicked, gain haste. Alright, well it wasn't kicked. Sure, opponent gets in for 3. That's fine. We'll flash in Living Tempest. Oh, another Roost of Drakes. Do we just do... Yeah, I think we just do that. So, Roost of Drakes with Kicker. Make 2 Drakes. Oh my god. Our deck is disgusting, isn't it? Attack, attack, and attack. We're just going to keep the pressure on our opponent. We got them dead next turn to all these flyers. We're going to hold on to the Royal Mage, just because we can, pretty much. Tajiru Snarecaster. That has reach. That might buy them a turn. I mean... Oh, Zagras! Holy moly. Wow. We'll just take it. Man, our opponent has a pretty cool deck, but, well, now we can really just rub salt in the wound. Sorry, opponent, but we're going to do this. So we had them super mega dead. Opponent blocks, but they take 1.5 million damage. So our opponent was on 5-color party, which is pretty cool, but wasn't cool enough to stay alive, unfortunately for them. So, yeah. Our deck seemed pretty insane. Roost of Drakes was as good as it felt when it kicked my butt in pre-release. This card is just kind of nuts, isn't it? Wow. And our opponent was on a really spicy deck. I actually really like our opponent's deck. This 5-color party deck featuring Zagras. I mean, this deck is really cool. I really like what our opponent is going for here, and the idea to use this as a fixing spell, Lithiform Blight, instead of just a way to annoy your opponent is pretty nice. So, yeah, our opponent's deck I'm really enamored with, but I think our deck was way better, so, yeah. Anyway, on to the next game. Alright, up against Tadashi with our Kicker control deck, and we'll keep this. No 1-drop, which is good for us. Alright, play an island. We might, depending on how aggressive our opponent's deck is, we might have to just play this Royal Mage out as a blocker. Okay, that's gonna be a yes. I'm playing the Tazim Royal Mage as a blocker. Yeah, would be nice to get the Kicker ability on this, but we are definitely going to just trade with this 3/1 if we have the chance to. Okay, well, we don't have the chance to now. We do get to bounce it, which will be good, but yeah, I guess we can probably just Glacial Grasp it is even better. Draw a card. Yeah, we'll just do that. Is this an instant? It is an instant. So we'll do it on their upkeep so it stays tapped an additional turn. So we'll attack with Royal Mage. Okay, well, they Spikefield Hazard it. Good card. We'll go to our opponent's upkeep, tap down their creature. It stays tapped down for 2 turns. We also milled some removal spells, which is pretty nice. Alright, and we'll pass turn. Oh, Roost of Drakes. We can Roost of Drakes next turn, make it 2/2. Man, Roost of Drakes, this card is insane. Every time we've drawn Roost of Drakes, it feels like just unbeatable. Right? Make it 2/2. Next turn, we can Drana potentially if we want to start getting back our Tazim Royal Mage, or we can into the Royal if we need to bounce something. Thundering Rebuke. Sure. Yeah, we're gonna just definitely run out the Drana here. Yep. Drana. Next turn, we can we can into the Royal, make a Roost of Drakes, and also bounce their dude. Do they have another removal spell? Are they just red-white removal spells? I'll be really sad if our Drana dies. We're not going to block here. We're just going to take 5. Yep, sure. We're not going to lose our Drana to, like, a shock or something. Ooh, Blood Chief's Thirst is pretty good. So we'll attack. Our opponent has to give us back... What? Oh, it exiled it. Ooh, that was a mistake. I forgot that Spikefield actually exiles it. Well, that's a little unfortunate. I think we go... Yeah, I think we're going to go into the Royal, kick the Spell Sword, and no land. Pass turn. I was hoping we hit a land drop there, is why I did that main phase, but no such luck. Opponent can shift something up with the kite sail, sure. But we've just, I mean, we just got, like, a removal spells and a half here to deal with, like, everything. We can Into the Royal again next turn. There we go, there's the land. So I think we just do that. Into the Royal, kick the healer, make another 2/2. Oh, another Roost of Drakes. And hit our opponent. And do we want to just Blood Chief? No, you know what? We're going to hold on to this to kick this Blood Chief's Thirst. There's really no reason to get this 3/1 off the battlefield. Aww. Opponent kicks that, sure. Well, we will trade our free 2/2 with their not free 3/1. Malakir Rebirth would have been so good last turn. But we're just going to close out the game here with a second Roost of Drakes. And opponent skips it up. Yep. Alright, so that wasn't particularly close, but we did make a small mistake. Something to keep in mind with the Spike Field is it actually Exile, so it's even better than just throwing 1 damage on something. This Spike Field Hazard actually does 1 damage to something, and if it would die, it gets exiled instead. So it actually exiled our Royal Mage, which means our Drana didn't actually get anything back. But if our Drana, if it hadn't been exiled, our Drana would have been so crazy there. We would have gotten back Royal Mage for free with a +1/+1 counter on it. Would have been really great, but yeah, I mean, we really didn't. I guess we didn't need it. We still had just endless removal spells in hand to deal with whatever our opponent does, so they were pretty screwed no matter what they did. But sweet, on to the next one. All right, game 3 with kicker control, and this is our rogue hand, I guess. We have Skulker and Thought Thief. Probably just play out Skulker turn 2, because we can flash in this Thought Thief to give it Death Touch at instant speed. Yep, play our Skulker. And that does, I mean, we're going to get to this Lolit Mage's Domination a little bit quicker by having some rogues on the battlefield. Oh, dear God. Okay, well, we're not gaining life anyway, but that's going to put the pressure on us, so we can't just sit back and control the game. We need to actually kill our opponent here, so I think we just, yeah, we'll leave up Vanquish the Weak if they play something we want to kill. Otherwise, we'll just flash in the Soaring Thought Thief. Nectar, wow, so they get to break the symmetry with Nectar Pot. That's pretty good. I think we do just flash in Soaring Thought Thief. We might actually steal the nectar pot, just so we can gain life and kind of re-break the symmetry on them. All right, so I need 5 mana for that. So go to combat, attack, mill our opponent for 2, and I think we just leave up Deadly Alliance / Vanquish the Weak here. Kill a big threat if they play it. We need 1 more mana for this Lolit Mage's Domination to take the Nectar Pot. Valakut Exploration. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, exile the top card of your library. Okay. Interesting. Maybe we just kill this thing? Yeah, you know what? We're just going to kill this thing. We did want to steal it with Lolit Mage's Domination, but I think breaking the symmetry on this, or re-establishing the symmetry, I suppose, is probably worth it here. Okay. Glacial Grasp, interesting. Well, we'll get in. Attack. Opponent mills 2. Do we want to just run out the Nazim Royal Mage, I wonder? I guess we do have these instants. We'll just leave our instants up. We can either tap down something our opponent does, or we can Deadly Alliance if we actually want to get it off the battlefield. We'd like to Glacial Grasp here to actually draw a card, but... Okay, what is this? Nissa's Syndicon. Enchant land is a 4/4 elemental with reach and haste. It's still a land. When it dies, return the card to its owner's hand. Okay. Well, we can just Glacial Grasp that, which is pretty nice. Yep, we're going to Glacial Grasp the mountain, so it's going to stay tapped down for a couple turns. Hurts our opponent's mana as well as takes an attacker off the board. And now we've got enough stuff in their graveyard that our rogues are pumped up. Yeah, this is just the rogue game, I guess. Hit our opponent for 5. Mill 2 more. I guess we play the Royal Mage as a creature because we have lethal next turn if we do. So we're going to miss out on the kicker here, but we do have... By doing this, we can leave up the Deadly Alliance too, because now it's reduced by 2 because we have a wizard and a rogue. Alright, so what do you got, opponent? So, Skyclave Geobead. Lanners and a Dauntless Survivor. Okay. Okay, so we just have game here. Sure. But we get to just... Okay, we'll let this resolve. And then we get to just kill the Geopede. And... opponent gets... I guess we actually didn't need to play the Royal Mage because our opponent would die to their own... Vortex anyway. But yeah, you know what? Rogues got there this game. Just a bunch of removal spells backed up by a bunch of rogues. And that was enough to beat our opponent down. So sweet. Man, this deck feels really good. Wow. Okay. On to the next game. Okay, up against Wakame-san, and we do technically have 2 lands in this hand. I don't know. I guess this would be a lot better if we had some card draw. I guess we keep this. Yikes. I don't know. I guess we just run out the Rooster Drakes turn 1, and then Malakir Rebirth on turn 2. If we can just hit a bunch of land drops in a row, I guess there's really no rush to run out the Rooster Drakes, right? So, you know what, we'll just play this as a land, pass turn. If we can just hit a bunch of land drops in a row and cast all of our spells on time, we'll be pretty... Okay, well, that's a land drop. Alright, play out the Rooster Drakes for 1 mana. We can Glacial Grasp next turn, draw another card, hopefully hit our other land drop, and then we're up to 4 for Into the Royal. Okay, Teeter Peak Ambusher, which is... Okay, sure. So our opponent's on red-black. I don't really know what the archetype is for red-black. Maybe just warriors? Aggro? I don't know. But we will Glacial Grasp this thing. Tap it down for a couple turns. Draw us a card. Okay, Vanquish the Weak should be pretty good against our opponent's deck. Ardent Electromage. When there's the battlefield, add red to your party for each creature, or add red for each creature in your party. Okay, so I think we just... I guess we will... Yeah, we'll wait here. We'll do it on our opponent's turn, because potentially if they attack in with this Electromancer, we can Into the Royal at instant speed. Ooh! Okay, well, we know what we're going to bounce now. Yep, Into the Royal, kick the Zagras, make a 2/2, eat their Electromancer, which also makes their Zagras cost more next turn. Okay, and... Oh, you don't have the black for this Drana. I guess we just play the... We can't kick the Royal Mage either. I guess we just play the Hogger Constrictor. Pass the turn. See what our opponent does. If they have a land, they can just replay Zagras, which means we can't block this turn. If they don't have a land, they can't replay their Zagras this turn, which is pretty nice. We need 1 more black mana. If we have 1 more black mana, we can just Blood Chief's Thirst the Zagras, make a 2/2. Yeah. Maybe we need another black source in this deck. Scorch Rider. Okay. Ooh, Old Mage's Domination. So, we could take the Teeter Peak Ambusher, I suppose. Is that better than... That doesn't really get them down on creature types, but I think that's probably better than just, like, vanquishing the Weakit. So, we'll do that. So, steal the Ambusher, and get in for 2, I guess. You know what, we'll leave this back, so we can trade with the Scorch Rider, potentially. If our opponent doesn't have a land here, then we get to double block the Scorch Rider if they attack. We really are just basically stalling out to try to hope to draw a black source. If we can draw a black source, we not only get this Blood Chief Thirst online to deal with their Zagras, we also can get their okay. We also can use our Blood Chief Thirst. So if our opponent has... Okay, well, we will trade 1 for 1. Alright, another warrior, sure. Come on, black source. Really, any land, even if we can recast this Tazim Royal Mage with its kicker, is good, but black source is ideal. And we can just vanquish the weak, this Expedition Champion, because they don't have another warrior on the battlefield as it stands at the moment. Well, Into the Royal. Okay, that is a... I think we're going to do it now, see if we can hit a land. Can we hit a land? Yes! It is a land. Not the land that we wanted exactly, but it is a land, so we will be able to cast this Tazim Royal Mage at least. Get back, probably Into the Royal. Maybe Lol Mage's Domination if we feel like it, because we can just steal this Expedition Champion as well. Wow, another Into the Royal. I think actually we're just gonna keep doing this. Man, this must be pretty frustrating for our opponent, but oh, another Rooster Drakes. We're just gonna play that as 1 mana. We do miss out on a Drake by doing it this way, but then next turn when we play the Tazim Royal Mage, we get 2 Drakes. We don't have to take a turn off to play the Roost of Drakes. Yeah, this is just disgusting. We get to Tazim Royal Mage, get back a Into the Royal, which will give us 2 more Drakes. Oh, yeah, this just feels unbeatable. Another Expedition Champion, sure. So Zagras is coming down next turn. Seagate Restoration seems pretty cool. We will go Tazim Royal Mage with Kicker. Make 2 flyers. Get back into the Royal. Oh yes, it's happening again, opponent. Attack and attack. We've got our opponent on the rocks. I think we're not going to play the Seagate Restoration as a land. I think we got enough blue as it is, and we'd rather potentially have it as a draw for. If we, for some, I don't think we're going to need anything to finish this game besides what we already have. But all right, opponent. If you just play the Zagras, we are more than okay with that. We might just ignore it completely and just kill our opponent with Drakes, but we could also just trade a couple Drakes for it if we wanted to get her off the battlefield. It is a pretty scary threat. Malakir Meyer. Alright, I don't think our opponent can do anything here. Into the Royal, Into the Royal, let's look at what this actually does. This is 4 mana, bounce anything, make 2 Drakes, and draw a card. Like, that's ridiculous. That is the most ridiculous 4 mana spell ever printed. Yeah, we'll just take 2. Sure. Opponent just, I guess, leaves up removal. Man, we cannot find that second black source, can we? Alright, we'll play the island, go to combat. I guess we just attack, 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 and attack. Sure, opponent vanquished the weaks, one of the Drakes. That's fine. Still have lethal in the air next turn, and yeah, I think we just pass and plan on Into the Roiling whatever they do here. Make 2 more flyers. Yeah, and our opponent scoops it up. Alright, so, wow. Oof, this deck has felt almost unbeatable. Wow. It helps that we haven't, like, stumbled on mana or, you know, had typical sort of limited problems where we just draw all of our weak cards and of our strong cards. We've pretty consistently hit the strategy of our deck, although we have been missing our second black source somewhat frequently, which is a, you know, so it's not like we've gone perfectly, but we haven't, like, just not hit lands, which we could have done with the hand we kept in this deck. Remember, we kept a 2-landers, and we could have easily just missed lands for 2 or 3 turns, and that would have killed us for sure against a deck this aggressive, but we didn't. We hit our land drops, and that was, yeah, pretty backbreaking for our opponent. This was just felt unbeatable. The combination of Royal Mage getting back into the Royal, bouncing our opponent's permanents, Rooster Drakes just spitting out 2/2s for free. Just didn't even feel remotely close. So, sweet. I like this deck. Alright, up against Oriathon, and this is we'll keep this hand, but this is a hand where we're probably going to have to play this Seagate Restoration as a land, I would imagine. Wow, Archpriest. That's pretty scary. What are we going to do against the Archpriest? Do we just want to run out this Roost of Drakes? I mean, it's probably... What we're probably going to do is just play this... Oops. Play the Seagate Restoration tapped. Pass the turn. And... Dauntless Survivor. Alright, so this Archpriest is getting big. 3/3 for 1. They may just... This is a pretty fast clock from our opponent. I think we'll play Roost of Drakes. I don't know. What are we going to do in turn 4? Okay, I'm just gonna pass the turn here. Take our damage. We really need to draw some early interaction, either a removal or a creature just to block. Well, that is a creature, so you're not going to complain. It's a 2/3, which means it can't actually block this Archpriest very well, but it is a creature, so... Uh-oh. Well... This could be over pretty quick. We do have turn 4 Roost of Drakes make a 2/2. Okay, Jaraga Visionary, sure. But we're getting pretty close to dead here. We have just been too slow. We could Into the Royal. I think we want to Roost of Drakes, because if we can follow this up with an Into the Royal to knock our opponent's stuff off. If they have the last creature type, they have Warrior, Cleric, Wizard. So if they have a Rogue here, we are in bad shape. Yeah. Go to 3. Sure. Alright, well, we're not dead yet. Play a land, pass the turn. We can bounce something and also make a 2/2. Bounce the Archpriest. Make a 2/2 to block the Visionary. Okay. Replay the Archpriest and... Okay, Vanquish the Weak. Interesting. Okay, so we can Vanquish the Weak and play the Royal Mage would technically keep us alive. Is it better just to Royal Mage and make it 2/2? I guess so. So we will Royal Mage with Kicker. Get back into the Royal. Pass the turn. We're just barely hanging on, though. Any removal spell gets us. Any pump spell gets us. Ah, there's the removal spell. Alright, alright, alright. So our opponent was indeed aggressive enough to shut down our control deck, so our opponent's deck seemed pretty good. Just curving out this Archpriest. Really, that was what beat us, this turn 1 Archpriest, and then pumping it. So Archpriest by itself is already a pretty sizable threat, and then combining that with Dauntless Survivor meant we just couldn't get it off the battlefield fast enough. We also kind of kept a slower hand, I suppose. Maybe we shouldn't have kept this hand, I don't know. We couldn't have known how aggressive our opponent's deck would be, though. I mean, expecting on turn 2 to be getting hit by a 3/3 is a little bit above the pale, you know. But we weren't that far away from stabilizing. If we could slow our opponent down maybe an additional turn, or if our opponent didn't have the Archpriest on turn 1, maybe if it was on turn 2, we maybe would have been able to make it. But yeah, just too fast for us this game. All right, on to the next one. Okay, up against AR Xibalba, and okay, we'll keep this. We technically have 3 lands with this Malakir's Rebirth, and I think we're just gonna run this out turn 1. We can wait till turn 4 with these Roost of Drakes. They're a lot better, but we may have to run it out depending on how things look exactly. Okay, I think we are just gonna run out this Royal Mage this turn. We have 2 more for later, so this can at least hold down the fort for the time being. If our opponent doesn't have that Spike Field traps, that is. If they do, it's just gonna die. No! Okay. Well, I guess that's a card out of their hand at least. We can field research next turn and set ourselves up to do these Roost of Drakes. Yeah. Draw 2 cards. Hit our land drops. Got Roost of Drakes for next turn. Roost of Drakes for the turn after that, and then we can like Blood Chief's Thirst the turn after that. Make a couple Drakes. Don't know what our opponent's on exactly. Red black. Do nothing until turn 4. I don't know about that strategy, but all right. Roost of Drakes with Kicker. Make a 2/2. Yeah, and it already feels like we're running away with the game now. Sure. Maybe I guess our opponent's on red black removal spells. Doesn't seem very good against an army of 2/2s getting spit out. Okay, opponent's got a whole lot of nothing, so we're just going to go Roost of Drakes number 2. Make a couple 2/2s. Yeah, and this is feeling pretty over. Opponent's been missing land drops. They've just got nothing going on. Kargan Intimidator ain't going to get there by itself. Blood Chief's Thirst. Alright, kills one of our 2/2s, sure. But, unfortunately for our opponent, we get to go Royal Mage with Kicker. Make 2 more 2/2s. Get back our card draw that also has Kicker. Yeah, and feels pretty impossible for our opponent to come back from this position. We've just got an army being spit out every single turn while our opponent is missing land drops. So I think Xibalba is not going to be in this game for too much longer. Unless they have some sort of crazy bomb. Yeah, just removal spells line up so bad with our deck. Like, that is so not good. Well, there's a Falconer, but I think we just go to combat. Attack with everything. Opponent just trades with our Royal Mage, sure. Yeah, I think we just... Yeah, I think we just make some... make some more Drakes, draw some cards. Play an island, pass turn. Yeah, good game. This one's over. Okay, so that was our deck returning to form after getting crushed by aggro last game. We crushed aggro back this game, and yep. When our deck does get going, it feels like we can't be beat. You know, if our opponent gets in underneath us like our last opponent did, that's a different story, but once we kind of put the pieces together, it feels like nothing our opponent does even really matters. This deck is just so good. Sweet. Hmm. I mean, if we get to one more land, we get the field research, which should get us to additional lands. I guess we keep this. Definitely going to be playing this Black Bloom Rogue as a land. Okay, we're going to die. uh, hmm. Yeah, we're going to play this as a land still. So, when it's equipped, it has haste. When it dies, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. That is really good with equipment. It's just a, yeah, it's a warrior. So, opponent's just on red-black aggro. We are just going to play out this... Oh my gosh, I meant to play the island. Okay, okay, not good. We should have played the Royal Mage last turn to block. Jeez. Yeah, that might be costly. I meant to play the island there and grab the swamp instead. Okay, so I guess here we will Glacial Grasp the Skulker, I guess is what we do. Try to make sure we hit our land drop next turn to play the Roost of Drakes. I think that's better than just playing the Royal Mage. So, yep, tap down the Skulker. Draw a card. Mill our opponent for 2. Okay, there's a land drop, so that means we do get to Roost of Drakes next turn, give ourselves a 2/2, which seems pretty good. Then we can start off the process of making a bunch of 2/2s. Alright, yeah, let's do it. Roost of Drakes, kicker. If we lose this by like 1 point of damage, I'm gonna cry. Because that's probably what we would have soaked up with this Tazim Royal Mage. Alright, bonus vanquishes the weak, our Royal Mage. They do get in for 2 here. But next turn we can, into the Royal, bounce something and also make a 2/2 at instant speed. Seems pretty good. Myriad Construct, okay. So, when it's the target of a spell sacrifice, it make a number of 1/1 equal to its power. So we'll make 4 1/1s? Yikes. Okay, well, we will pass the turn, plan on into the roiling the Myriad Construct. Even though this does make them a bunch of 1/1s, I think it's still worth it. I guess we should have waited till they attacked, because now they probably won't attack in with their 1/1s. That was a bit of a mistake. Yeah, playing a little sloppy. I guess they had their removal spell anyway, but... Okay, okay. Oh, a second Roost of Drakes is pretty good. So, play the other Roost of Drakes. Make a couple 2/2s. Ugh, but they might still have us here. Thundering Spark Mage. Yeah, they just... Oof. Oof. They got us, I think. Yeah, we don't have a way to deal with all these creatures. Yeah, this Myriad Construct, I think, was the real kicker that got us here. So we can... I guess the best thing we can do is Royal Mage. We're still going to die, though. Yeah, we'll Royal Mage. Go out swinging, I guess. But we are well and truly dead. Yeah, get back into the Royal. Ugh. Yeah, if our opponent had missed just 1 or 2 turns, I feel like we would have been fine. But they hit the right mix of removal spells and creatures to put enough pressure on us. Yeah, opponent gets to kill us. We are dead. Alright, so we got beat up by another aggro deck. That definitely seems to be the weakness of this deck. If they can just get in underneath us before we get our engine going. It also didn't help that there was a couple of misplays on my part. I should have played this Royal Mage on turn 2 and accidentally played a Swamp instead. And also, maybe it wasn't right to get rid of that Construct the way I did. I don't know, maybe we should have just kept chumping the Construct with 2/2s. Instead of giving them a bunch of 1/1s. Although I think we still would have died if we did that. Because our opponent just had these removal spells lined up and giving them an abyss, you know, giving them the ability to just eat one of our creatures every turn just by having this creature exist. I think we're not going to get out from underneath that either. So, kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. Not sure exactly what the best way to go about it was, but in any case, we did get wrecked. So, all right, on to the next one. All right, up against Michael Schwartz. Our opponent goes first, but we'll keep this. Hopefully opponent's not on a too aggressive of a plan. Okay. 2 drops pretty nice. So we can play out Roost of Drakes. We're not going to wait till 4 mana on this because we already have an instant royal for turn 4. We don't want to play the Seagate Restoration if we can help it as a land, but if we need to, we can. Okay, now we don't need to. I was going to say if we need to make sure we hit our, you know, hit our play on turn 4, we could play it as a land, but we were going to try to hold off if we could, and we did get rewarded for doing so. Risen Riptide. So whenever you cast a kick spell, it turns to a 5/5. Ugh. Alright, that's pretty good. Yeah. I guess we just... Yeah, I guess we just pass the turn. No attacks. We can MacLeod Rebirth here if we want to. Skyclave Pickaxe, alright. Sure. So now that when it attacks... okay. A 2/7, sure. So we will, I guess, block. And MacLeod Rebirth, just to save ourselves some life. I guess we don't actually save any life this way. Maybe this was the wrong idea. I forgot this actually burns you for 2/2, so there wasn't really much of a reason to Risen Riptide there. All right, we can into the Royal now though, and I think we just do it because our opponent potentially has some counter spells. I think we just do it on our turn. Kick the Risen Riptide. Attack our opponent for 2. Pass turn. And we've got this Seagate Restoration to refill our hand once we get to 7 mana. Got some pressure on our opponent now. We can play this Blackborn or Blackbloom Rogue next turn. We might actually play it as a land next turn because that guarantees that we get to 6 mana the turn afterwards. In which case we can play the Tazim Royal Mage with Kicker. Yeah, there's another Riptide, sure. Bonus on like blue-green landfall plus some Kicker sub-themes, I guess. Okay, I guess we just get in the air for 2. Play the Rogue. And pass turn. Next turn we can Royal Mage. Turn after that we might Seagate Restoration if we feel like it. Or we can into the Royal. Bounce our opponent's stuff back, make some more Drakey Poos. Okay. We will trade, I guess. Kazandu Stomper, so 6 mana, 6/5 with Trample. When it enters the battlefield, you get to return up to 2... Okay. Ooh, Drana. Do we want to Drana or just Tazim Royal Mage here? I guess Drana lets us get back this Skulker, which will have Death Touch. Does it come into play tapped? No. Yeah, I guess we get back Drana. Because if they can't answer this turn, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. Yeah, I guess we can't really block this Stomper anyway, so we'll just get him for 2. This Stomper might be a problem, because they can equip it up here, put a land into play, and it's going to be an 8/7. But we do get to get back a Death Toucher to deal with it next turn, for free. Wow, they didn't equip. Alright, so they got something they want to do instead of equipping. Marasa Sproutling. So when it's kicked, you return... Okay, they're just bringing the field research back, so we will just block here, take 6... Although I guess this means now our dude won't... Oh, Roost of Drakes. Interesting. I think we go Roost of Drakes with Kicker. Make a couple 2/2s. Attack with Drana. Our opponent gets to choose what to get us back from our graveyard. But, I mean, anything's great because it's going to have a +1/+1 counter on it. Alright, they get us back the Skulker. And... yeah, we just pass a turn. We are under some amount of pressure here. Hopefully our opponent doesn't... Well, they do have the card draw Kicker spell, so if they do that, they're going to have another 5/5, but we can just chump that. We're making Drakes at a rate here that it's fine to throw one under the Riptide. The Stomper's the big problem. That's something we need to get off the battlefield. Field research, okay. So they are just going with the plan here. That means we're pretty safe to triple block this Stomper. So block... Block, block, block. I guess just take 5 down to... Yeah, we'll take 5. Get their other 2 creatures off the battlefield. Ooh, Lowell Mage's Domination is really good here. So this is 2 or 3, okay. Actually, we'll do that next turn. This turn we're just gonna make a bunch of Drakes. Get back into the Royal, attack our opponent. They have to give us back a creature for free that comes back with a +1/+1 counter on it. Yeah, so things feel pretty good. We're not gonna... You know what, we're just gonna play this tapped. Because we're not gonna be casting that. This game's gonna be over one way or another sooner than we need to actually cast the Seagate Reclamation, so... We want all the mana for this Lowell Mage's Domination we can, in case they have some flyer we need to get out of the way. Although I guess we do have Into the Royal, so But this puts us in a position where I feel like we can't lose. Field research, drawing a couple cards. Alright, do you have a way to deal with a million power in the air? Good game. Alright, okay, took him down. Yeah, against these mid-rangey decks, it feels like we just dominate. It's only the aggro decks that give us problems. But this one, our opponent had a kind of interesting deck, a blue-green landfall deck. This thing was kind of scary, this Kazandu Stomper. Technically a downside that you have to bounce 2 lands back to your hand, but in a landfall deck, that can actually be pretty good. And we saw it in our opponent's deck that this thing got pretty big pretty quick. But yeah, I think if they had equipped up the Kazandu Stomper with the pickaxe, so we wouldn't be able to get it off the battlefield, maybe that would have been better. But then again, maybe we just had them under too much pressure with these 2 Roost of Drakes. Maybe there was nothing really great they could have done, but I don't know. We had this Lol Mage's Domination waiting in the wings, and we could do it for, what, 1, 2, 3, 4 currently. And if we milled our opponent a bit more, they were almost at 8 cards in their graveyard. So then once we get them to 8 cards in the graveyard, we could do it for 7. We could steal anything they play, pretty much. So this was probably going to be a backbreaker no matter what they did. But, yeah, Drana was kind of the all-star of that game. So, on to the finals. Here we go. Okay, up against I Am Kinoai. Jeez. I guess we keep this. Ooh, this is a little questionable. But this is the finals, one way or another. Either opponent beats us and we finish with 6 wins, which is still really good. This is still a really good deck. But, oh yeah, that is exactly what we wanted. Now we can play our Skulker. Yeah, now we're pretty happy about this hand. But yeah, we either win this and get the full Monty, get the full prize, or we finish 1 short, but still good. We'll see what our opponent's up to. Oh, green-black. If it was kicked, put 3 +1/+1 counters on it. If you put a +1/+1 counter on something, put it on top of your library. Interesting. I guess we just Glacial Grasp that thing. Pass turn. We don't want to trade for it because they just get it back, right? Putting it back on top of your library is a lot different than putting it back into your hand, though. Yeah, we'll just grasp it. Sure. Firmly grasp it. Ooh, we milled a Soul Shatter, which is pretty nice. Okay, there's the MacLeod, sure. So we could just enter the Royal here, which I think we do. We'll just enter the Royal, bounce our opponent's creature, draw a card, hit him for 2. We're basically just digging for our Drake Havens, our Drake Nest, whatever that card's called. And the more time we can buy for our Royal Mages is good too, even if we can't quite find our Drake stuff quite yet. Alright, here comes the MacLeod, sure. Okay. Yeah, we just go Skyclave Squid plus Hagra Constrictor. Pass the turn. Don't have great blocks here, unfortunately, especially because our opponent probably is playing that that black combat trick that was a +1/+1 counter on something, because they do have the payoff with the Moss Pit Skeleton for that. So I imagine that's going to make any of our blocks pretty bad. Canopy Baloth. So this is a 4-mana 4/3 when it enters battlefield. A land enters battlefield, gets +2/+2. All right, so it's going to be a 6/5. Do we trade? I guess not. We'll take the 2. We're not especially low. Field research is good. We get to draw 3 cards rather. Okay. No tax. All right, we're gonna need to find stuff that actually impacts the board a bit. We can Blood Chief's Thirst just to get this Baloth off the battlefield. But we're hoping to find our Drake Haven before we have to fire off this Blood Chief's Thirst. But if we have to, we have to. We can also flash in the Soaring Thought Thief, which will give our Skulker... Alright, well that's not good. Give our Skulker Death Touch. Yeah, I think we take it. Down to 10. Come on, Drake Haven. Drake Nest. Drake something. Royal Mage. Okay. So we're gonna flash in the Soaring Thought Thief to give this Skulker Death Touch. If that's our plan, then what else can we do this turn? We can cast... I mean, if we cast this with Kicker, we don't have any black left. I think we just have to play one of these Royal Mages as a creature, even though it would be really great to get back into the Royal. Maybe we... Yeah. We'll play it as a creature. Just as a blocker on the ground. And pass the turn. Plan on flashing in the Soaring Thought Thief, putting the Expedition Skulker in front of the Canopy Baloth, and having a 1/3 to block the Moss Pit Skeleton. No, we don't want to attack. Alright. Seagate Restoration, maybe next turn if we've stabilized enough so we can draw some cards. The -1/-1 combat trick doesn't stop the Death Touch, so that's something at least. Alright, they play this. What does Kazandu Valley actually do on its other... Oh, it's the Woolly Mammoth. Okay, opponent attacks, attacks, and attacks. We will flash in the Soaring Thought Thief. It gives our Skulker Death Touch. Block, block, and I guess we double block this thing. They get to put a +1/+1 counter on their Moss Pit Skeleton this way, but I think we need to stop taking damage. No, no removal spell. Don't do it. Okay. Subtle Strike, I mean, it's not great, but it does still end with their creature dying, so that's something. Okay, and we can Bloodchief's Thirst this Moss Pit Skeleton off the battlefield if we need to. Oh! Alright. Let's steal their Skeleton, which is great, because that thing is going to be coming back otherwise. Oh, wow, that was a really good draw. Now we get their 3/3. They've got nothing left. Oh, come on! Alright, well, that's a bit of a problem. Okay. Oh, and they're gonna fight their skeleton too? Man, okay. Into the Royal. That's not bad. So I guess we... Yeah, I guess we into the Royal. Draw a card. Play an island. Yeah, and we'll pass the turn. We're just desperately trying to find our Drake Havens here. We can't find the things anywhere. Alright, they play out the Baloth. Drana. Okay, I think we play the Drana. Play the Drana. Pass the turn. Hopefully they don't have another removal spell for our Drana. They've used a lot of removal, so hopefully they don't have yet another one. We are just going to take the hit from this Baloth, unfortunately. Yeah, hit us for 6. But we get to start reanimating creatures for free. Yeah, they get to put their Moss Pit Skeleton back on top, sure. We get to kill the Baloth next turn with Bloodchief Thirst. Let's see, are they gonna... They might have to... Yeah, they just leave it in the graveyard because they need a removal spell. Ooh, Deadly Alliance isn't bad, so... Attack with Drana. We get to get back a creature for free. Okay, get back the Squid as a 4/3, sure. Hit our opponent. And I think we Bloodchief's Thirst the Moss Pit Skeleton. And on their upkeep, we're gonna Deadly Alliance the Canopy Baloth. Okay. Alright, okay. Whew. Whew. Okay, and this Drana might get us there. We don't have... I guess we could have land dropped with Seagate Restoration to hit him with a Skyclave Squid. But I think we'd rather actually cast the Seagate Restoration. Yeah, and I think we can just close this out by going Kicker, getting back the into the Royal, and that should be game. We can do it at instant speed here. Yeah, I guess we should have just played the Seagate Restoration because we have game here anyway. All right, whoo! What a final match. That was a nail biter for sure. Our opponent definitely had us on the ropes at some points of that game, but we were able to stabilize. Drana took the game away. Like, gosh, Drana didn't really show up much in our first few matches, but these last few matches, she has been ridiculously powerful. Just pretty much single-handedly won us that game. Drana backed up with removal. So, yeah, our opponent had a pretty cool deck. This Moss Pit Skeleton +1/+1 counter stuff deck. Pretty interesting. We did get to just coincidentally mill their Soul Shatter, which would have been really good against us if we hadn't. They also had just tons of removal. I mean, they had the Subtle Strike, they had the fight spells, they had Soul Shatter. So we were able to fight through all that removal and get there. So sweet. Our deck ended up... Well, we got 7 wins, we got maximum amount of wins. We're going to get the full prize amount, and let's see what we get in our prize. This deck felt really good. I guess let's look at it for a second. Big thing I'll take away from this, I suppose, is, man, this card is messed up. Roost of Drakes. Roost of Drakes won us almost every game. That last game we couldn't quite find it, but almost every other game we won on the back of Roost of Drakes. We did see its kind of weaknesses when we were up against an aggressive deck, and a 4-mana 2/2 just wasn't, you know, if we were waiting till turn 4 to start going off with our Roost of Drakes, it just wasn't fast enough against aggressive decks. But against any other sort of mid-range or control-y deck, it's just too much, right? You can't have enough removal spells to deal with all your opponent's spells making 1 or 2 2/2 flyers. It just can't be overcome. So Roost of Drakes was the all-star in this deck, even though it was an uncommon. But also, Drana felt really good. Seagate Restoration, we never casted it, but having the ability to, we never really felt like we were going to run out of action, because we always had this waiting in the wings if we needed it. Really, this package here, Roost of Drakes, Into the Royal, and Tazim's Royal Mage, these three together were just ridiculous together. That was the heart and soul of our deck, and it was nigh unbeatable. But let's open up our packs. We got 6 packs as a prize, and also a bunch of gems, I think. It didn't actually show what I got, but I'm assuming I also got some gems. Yeah, so here's our packs. We got, I don't know, we got 2 other packs from somewhere, but we'll take it. So let's see. Alright, Akiri's a pretty cool commander. Maybe you could build like a warrior deck around Akiri, potentially, because warriors do have some benefits from having stuff equipped to them. So maybe like Akiri plus Nahiri would be a pretty cool deck, but cool card to pick up. Next we have Lotus Cobra. This is going to be the terror of Standard, I think. I don't know if it was a good idea to reprint this card. Ramp was already really good for a number of years now, and now it's got Lotus Cobra, which is just so ridiculously explosive. If you've never seen this thing go off, it can just generate, 2, 3, 4 mana in 1 turn by itself, and it is a nasty, nasty card. Definitely going to be one of the better cards in Standard, I think. Okay, this is the Mythic Red modal land. So this basically is a removal spell land, which is a little, I think this might be the worst one, because it can only go after creatures, and like a mono red deck, you would like to have some actual reach as opposed to removal. But all that said, it's still like an A+ S tier card, right? Because it's attached to a land. Like, that can't really be overstated, especially when the lands come into play untapped like these mythic ones do. There's just no downside. Like, why not run them, right? Maybe, 9 games out of 10 you don't use it, but the game you do, it'll win you the game just for free in your mana base. Another Akiri. Okay, well, I'm putting together an Akiri deck. Got 2 of them already. If I get a third one, I can probably just build the deck with that. Okay, this is my 3rd Wayward Guide Beast. So the card is a 1-mana 2/2 with haste for red, which is Goblin Guide stats, which is the best red 1-drop of all time, but it also has a pretty big downside. So adding Cacophony, so this is a new mill spell, and a pretty good one. So 2 mana, and you get to mill 8 cards, or if you kick it, it's going to be 6 mana, and your opponent mills half their library. There's a spell they play in Modern that's just blue and a black, mill 10 cards, which is one of their better mill spells. I mean, mill 10 for 1 card is pretty good, and this isn't quite that much. You only go up to 8, but then it also has the kicker ability to take out half their deck with it. And there are some combo cards with it as well that are like, your opponent mills twice as much as they would or whatever, and that when you make them mill half their deck, that's going to be their entire deck when it gets doubled up. Coveted Prize, pretty interesting party payoff. I think this is more of a commander card, though. And maybe not even that. I mean, I personally don't like tutors all that much in Commander. I like the deck to feel a little varied, but okay, and Cardigan Intimidator. This is actually my 3rd Intimidator too, so I can put together Nahiri, Intimidator, Wayward Pack Piece deck, I suppose, a weird red-white deck. But in any case, this draft felt really good. I guess the big takeaway would be don't sleep on the Drake Generator. That card is absolutely busted. Probably, a rare level power in the uncommon slot, so it absolutely won us this draft. But in any case, this has been 2D. This has been Zendikar Rising draft number 1, and yeah, I'll see you next time.